Falhei, falhei. Tá?
Something's not right. I'm gonna go have a look.
Area sweep now. Searching for unauthorized persons.
What was that?
Security patrol initiated.
Take a look. Bring it down! I'm gonna rush them!
Holy shit. Holy crap, baby. Angry fuckers. Fuck here. Controle imbecil. Cativando. 66%. Com shotgun. mod. Esse aqui eu quero causar lockpick. Só aquele ali que a gente tem. Breakdown. Acabei com meu dinheiro. Eita. Não. Vamos lá. Esse aqui. Vai ser no lugar desse aqui mesmo. Não é tão importante, tá? Esse aqui vai ficar por lá. Não dá pra modificar. What the hell? Por que não dá pra modificar? Shit. Breakdown. Pode ser interessante. Esse aqui com certeza vai causar mais dano. Vamos ver o que esse brinquedo é, do que esse brinquedo é capaz. O que eu tenho para vender aqui? Isso aqui eu nem uso mais, em todos os casos, vou guardar alguma coisa. Vou usar coisa pra esse aqui. Guarda um pouco. Vou vender alguns aí. De 6, né? Só com 2. Vou colocar um pouquinho mais. Isso aqui não. Caralho. Ele vende. Ele vende tudo. Ele em jogo primeira pessoa não é comigo. Aqui. Tinker. Ok, aqui, ó. Beleza. Beleza. Vamos salvar. Crap. A bunch of crap. Chocolate. Nada que preste. O dano é fraco. Fuck.
I'll make you pay!
Ok. Essa arma ficou melhorzinha. As rajadas. Uma exploradinha básica. Exploradinha básica. mais dando XP, será agora, quando encontra as coisas? Esse último patch que mudou uns bagulho. Não tá mais dando XP. Dei espaço fora. What the hell?
I'm working as fast as I can, all right? If y'all would quit bothering me, I'd get this done sooner. Is that a joke? Y'all call me out to fix the FPS and now you're asking me who I am?
Crazy bitch.
Whatever. I need to fix this before I get in trouble, so stop bothering me. Forced pacification system. If the prisoners riot, we gas them. It went a little haywire after the last deployment, so here I am. Anyway, I need to finish this, so get out of here, will you?
Tô louco. O último patch aumentou essas legendas. Agora, sinceramente, eu não via problema no tipo da legenda antiga.
What?
Sei lá. Vamos ver settings. Gameplay. Não. UI. Large text mode.
What?
Pra mim tá bom isso aí, eu consigo enxergar. Eu tinha feito loot dessa porra toda, não aproveito não. Todos viraram montinhos de cocô. Estão em algum lugar nos levels superiores. O palito é enorme. E sim, agora a putaria aconteceu.
The captain's here. Let's go. I want to see all of you busting ass.
Gotta reload! Gotta get down!
Tem uns caras aí do bem me ajudando. Ah, peguei o cara errado. Shit, bosta. Os Iconoclasts estão do meu lado, cara. Ah, não devia ter Friendly Fire, pô. coisa com mais
The
tranquilidade.
captain's here. Let's go. I want to see all of you busting ass.
Me guiar pela porra da setinha. Sério? Oh, boosters one time.
Looks like your path's at an end.
That's the gram, asshole!
Devia ter vindo nesse lugar no começo pra ter high ground. Ficar metendo chumbo aqui, tá? Ok, vamos procurar montinhos de cocô. O montões também serve. Nossa, os maluquinhos que eu salvei lá, tá certo? Eles vão no fio, claro. Lembrou, cabeça de cu, lembrou, né?
Hey, Cap.
Yeah.
Here we go. Bless our eternal minds.
Tem um montinho de cocô. Vambora, seguir em frente. Virou cocô. Viro, coco, viro, coco. Cocô crítico. Virou um cocô crítico. Qual o objetivo? E aí eu acho o Chairman Rockwell aqui. Com certeza não é ele. Será, peraí. Ah, sério que eu... Putz. Cheio de assalto, vamos. Tem que matar uns montinhos de cocô de novo. Isso foi mais divertido. Era 2 montinhos de cocô, né?
Well, look who it is. I'll be damned. I was prepping the studio for our announcement, and here you are as a bonus. When you go off and get yourself shot, try to avoid taking one to the face. I'll want it recognizable to show to my citizens. Haven't you heard? Phineas is working for us now. It took some doing, but employing an efficient management strategy of putting our guns to his head seems to have done the trick. Yes, he is an extraordinarily obstinate fellow, isn't he? Fine, he isn't working for us per se. Semantics, he'll come around. But that's between us. As far as my adoring citizens will know, we've turned a dangerous crackpot into a working-class man. It's a miracle.
A miracle. A miracle is the whole I will put in your face. That crackpot serum for comes.
Oh yes, go on, wake them up, add more mouths to feed. That'll solve our starvation problems. I don't know what half-baked plans that simpleton in a lab coat has been leading you through, but it's done. It's over. Let me ask you something, Captain. Have you at any point thought about not fucking up our entire society?
Nem um segundo.
That's because you don't think ahead. Phineas's counterproductive plan doesn't make a lick of sense. We don't need your help.
Ain't give me a crap.
We'll have to agree to disagree on that one, Captain. Now, if you don't mind, I have to finish prepping this script.
You had to be kidding me. You have to be fucking kidding me. Sério mesmo? Por que não matar ele? Ah, não, vou seguir a quest. Sei lá, tipo, tu tá no meio da revolução, tu tem chance de pegar o boss pirofodão da coisa. Tu não vai matar ele, tipo... Doesn't make sense. Mostra a cara, filho da puta. Ah, shit. Ah, não, achei que era assim, não é só. Achei que era uma aliada. Vem, amigão. Ó, madeira cocô roxa. Foi eu que matei os Iconoclast. I hope not. O que eu tô precisando é guerra com meus aliados. Eu não me conformo que o Rockwell tava ali, cara. Die, motherfucker, die. Opa, tem um monte de cocô aqui. Morreu os Iconoclast tudo. Mais legal é fazer toda essa zona. Depois descobre de repente que, sei lá, que o cara que tu tava ajudando, na verdade, é que é o mal da história. Ah, eu vou rir muito da minha cara. Eu vou rir horrores. Dá aquele plot twist no final do treco. Acabou as mandinhas de cocô. Tá real? O dano tá baixo isso aqui. Toma. Mais dano não adianta.
Captain, you have an uncanny talent for complicating my life. You've disrupted the balance of power. You've upset the natural order of things. You've introduced uncertainty, and there is nothing I despise more than uncertainty.
Eu tô muito preocupado com o que você não gosta, mulher. By the way.
Typical. Running your mouth in the middle of a crisis. It's almost as if you delight in chaos. I should have dealt with you a long time ago. You were always too dangerous to leave unchecked.
Que medo! Que essa porra soltou. Soltou.
I suppose I shouldn't be surprised by your impertinence. Leaving you alive was my greatest mistake. But it is a mistake I intend to correct. I have Dr. Wells in my custody. Once I've secured his cooperation, I can move forward with the program. I can repair the damage you've done. I can set things right.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm aware of your propensity for violence. Halcyon is a bloodier place because of you. I wish you'd simply cooperated with me. You're the finest marksman in Halcyon. You could have been my gun.
Ai. Se tu quer uma gun, usa a tua mesmo, trouxa.
If you insist. This prison is equipped with an automechanical warden. I've had it programmed to eliminate you on sight and rinse your remains down a drain. And don't worry. I will inform Dr. Wells that you died heroically or something.
É mesmo. É mesmo. Save game. Vai que a Blabbermouth faz alguma coisa, né? Eu achei que talvez ia ter alguma coisa acontecendo. Tá. Tá real? You didn't have... No, you didn't stand a chance. Shithead. Shithead. Very, very easy. No próximo gameplay eu jogo mais difícil. Tá muito fácil. Ok. E agora é a Blabbermouth. Confront the beach. Yeah. Oh, nossa! Unexpected. Esse crítico foi do galho. Caralho, hein, Finesse? Essa sim. Esse pedacinho, mulher, que bizarro. Yeah, whatever.
You don't know how glad I am to see you. You did the right thing. Akande was a monster. Her death was much deserved, and long overdue. And you lunatic, you broke into the board's own fortress just to rescue one doddering old man. You are absolutely out of your mind, and I can't begin to thank you enough. Ah, all in a day's work for you, huh? You've broken the board's stranglehold on this colony, and you saved my life. But there's still so much we have yet to accomplish. You and I are going to have to work harder than ever to save Halcyon. I'm afraid the situation is far worse than any of us ever anticipated. I would like nothing more than to celebrate this victory, but we have a serious problem on our hands. Earth has gone dark. We haven't received a single message in 3 years. There's been no communication, no signals, nothing. 2 years ago, the Earth's Directorate's frigate disappeared on their way back to Earth. We don't know what they discovered when they arrived, or if they arrived at all. We're in serious trouble, my friend. Do you know what this means for Halcyon? We can't rely on Earth for support anymore. We've been cut loose. We're entirely on our own. Yes, you're right. The road is long, and we haven't a moment to waste. We must begin the revival process immediately, starting with the Hope's brightest minds, and then we're going to fix this damn colony, one problem at a time. We're going to need a leader, and I can't imagine a better person for the job than you. What do you say, old friend? Will you help us? I can't tell you how glad I am to hear that. When I revived you, I thought we were going to save this colony all by ourselves. But I was wrong. We can't save Halcyon on our own. We're all going to have to pull together, somehow. We are not a colony anymore. Our last connection to Earth has been severed. I don't know if we'll survive, but we're going to have to try our best.
The OSI teaches that everything in the universe happens according to the grand plan. But the stranger that arrived in Halcyon was an unplanned variable. From the moment he landed in Emerald Vale, his actions altered the course of history. The events on Tartarus brought about the end of the board's authority. But the board's mistakes would haunt the colony for decades to come. The damage they left behind would require the work of a generation to repair. Dr. Phineas Wells began reviving a handful of the Hope's colonists. Engineers, scientists, technicians, and intellectuals. They were among the brightest minds the Earth had ever sent out into the stars. The Hope scientists and engineers woke up in a colony descending headlong into total collapse. With no way to return to Earth, they had no choice but to band together and devote themselves to the cause of saving Halcyon. The people of Halcyon were nothing if not hardy. In the absence of the board's authority, many of the colony's settlements banded together with a single purpose in mind: survival. Life was especially hard in the years to come. Some towns dissolved by attrition and starvation, but most of them found a way to carry on. In the years to come, Halcyon was forced to reckon with its newfound freedom. The board was gone, and for better or worse, the colony was responsible for its own destiny. As the colony struggled to survive, the inspirational story of the iconoclast spread like wildfire. Zora's focus on logistics made for a safer monarch, where the iconoclasts enjoyed a surge of new blood looking to join the ranks from struggling townships. Life on Monarch slowly improved from a desperate fight for survival to prosperous growth and more permanent strength. Consumed by paranoia, Lilia Hagen took Sublight Salvage in a controversial direction, openly accusing board officials of an extraterrestrial conspiracy. One day, an accident at the Groundbreaker's docking bay silenced her forever. Time would tell if her replacement could keep the Sublight family together. The collapse of Edgewater left its workers bereft of any purpose in life. Most of them made their way to Adelaide McDevitt's camp, hoping to ingratiate themselves into her favor. Adelaide accepted only a few to her community. The rest were turned away and likely died of starvation. Nevertheless, Adelaide's camp grew into a well-established town. Adelaide McDevitt refused to cooperate with the ongoing effort to save Halcyon from collapse. A sympathetic deserter stole a copy of her research and delivered it to the Hope's scientists. It is unclear how useful Adelaide's research was. An optimistic estimate suggests her work may have bought Halcyon another few years of survival. Adelaide would never know. She died that winter. Under the leadership of Junlei Tennyson, the Groundbreaker held firm against corporate influence. The ship's mechanical stability gave Junlei the time to educate a promising generation of engineers, schooled in her family's traditions. The future of the Groundbreaker looks promising. The rediscovery of the Hope and the abandonment of the lifetime employment program forced Byzantium to come to terms with some uncomfortable realities about the state of Halcyon. While Byzantines were reluctant to surrender the luxuries they'd grown accustomed to, the board's diminished authority gave them little choice in the matter. Nearly everyone had to learn to make do with less. Some even had to get jobs. It was a dark time indeed. Your influence shifted Ellie's perspective. She finally admitted, albeit grudgingly, that she just might need other people. Sometimes. With a steady income from the life insurance payouts, she was finally able to afford a ship of her own. She hired a small crew and flew supply missions to communities on the fringe. Some of them were even legal. Life in Halcyon was sobering for Felix Millstone. The grand revolution he dreamed of never came. There was no great awakening for the colony, no celebrations in the streets. There was only the hard, desperate work of trying to repair a broken colony. Felix never had a head for numbers, but if there was labor to be done, he was there to help. Eventually, Felix realized that the work of a revolution was done with two hands. As much as he enjoyed his adventures aboard the Unreliable, the vicar, known as Max, eventually decided that it was time to move on, to live out the life he had sought so long to create. He knew there were many in the colony who carried burdens much worse than the ones he had struggled with, and he devoted himself to easing their suffering wherever he could. He only ever took up arms again to defend the defenseless. Unshackled from a lifetime of striving and fighting the universe and himself, Vicar Maximilian de Soto was finally at peace. Though Parvati eventually grew comfortable aboard the Unreliable, she never quite came out of her shell. She seemed to prefer the company of Ada to the crew, and she could often be found neck-deep in cables and grease, telling Ada funny stories from her childhood. While the colony fell into chaos, she found an island of relative peace with Ada, and they formed an unusual bond. She decided to remain aboard the Unreliable permanently as its chief and sole engineer. Nyoka returned to Monarch to take another crack at making a permanent life for herself. She formed the Charon Group, a mercenary outfit of ragtag survivalists and wilderness experts. Anyone in need of a guide or just looking to throw back a beer and swap stories could find her camping on the trail or clearing an infestation. The SAM unit that accompanied you spread awareness of the product line's superior sanitation and maintenance capabilities across what was left of the colony. This led to a boost in SAM unit sales. Did you know that SAM units are the longest-lasting, toughest-acting cleaning solution in Halcyon? Minister Clark was released from house arrest, and his contact with you gave him a sense of renewed purpose and vigor. Once it became clear that no help would be coming from Earth, he threw his considerable efforts and talents into helping Halcyon manage the crisis before it. As for Dr. Phineas Wells, he spent his remaining years in his orbital lab. Though he was always haunted by the failures of his past, he was determined to make things right by building toward the future. Dr. Wells was able to revive many more scientists and engineers than he first expected, thanks to the additional batch of chemicals you stole from the Ministry. Wells never forgot about the human lives that were lost in acquiring these chemicals. The revival project was hard and painful work, but in the end, despite limited resources, over half the Hope's colonists were successfully revived. Even after Wells passed away, the Hope scientists and engineers worked night and day to pull Halcyon from the brink of collapse. Their efforts continue to this day, which may be reason enough for optimism. Dr. Wells laid the groundwork for the project to save the colony, but he would never live to see the fruits of his labor. He passed away a few years later. His work was carried on by the scientists and engineers he revived. Life will never be the same in Halcyon. It is widely agreed that the colony has a chance of stabilizing within a generation, owing to the hard work and determination of the surviving colonists. Recovery is a distant goal, and the path is long and uncertain. But the people of Halcyon carry on, determined as ever. And what about you, the unplanned variable in the history of Halcyon? Long after Wells passed away, you carried on his work with more energy, determination, and brilliance than he could ever muster. The years that followed were hard, but Halcyon survived by the efforts of the Hope's most promising colonists, the greatest of which was you. No one knows what's happened to Earth, and no one knows what the future has in store for Halcyon. All we know for certain is this: the name of the Unreliable and that of its intrepid captain will remain the subject of countless stories for years to come.
O jogo é bom, podia ser melhor. A história é legalzinha, mas meio simplista. Legal. Se der continue, vai acontecer o quê? Vai voltar pro último save, provavelmente. Bailou na curva. Deu pro joguinho. Isso quer dizer que agora a gente vai dedicar mais tempo pro Jedi. Então, falou. Até daqui a pouco.